Jared has mysteriously departed from our show.
He's been abducted.
Oh my gosh.
The aliens finally came together.
Jared!
No, for real, he had to step out. But anyway,
He's been probed.
which oddly I think he'll like.
He like
He asked for it. It was so weird.
It's weird. Have you ever been abducted by aliens? It's happened to me. I haven't been abducted, but I have seen aliens, and I know that I was very judgmental when I would hear people talking about seeing the movie style of aliens, where they all look like E.T. or they're glowing or they come down from a big ship, because I do believe in alien activity. I think that there are other life forms out there. I mean, you guys agree with that, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Other ones. I don't think they all look like E.T., but they're out there. The other day, I was sitting and watching. It was just in my front yard. It was a quiet afternoon. Kids were playing, doing something in the front yard, and I was just sitting outside. It was a beautiful day. And something happened where we were looking up toward the tree line, and something caught my eye from like right above our house. And I can't explain it because I think normally I would say, oh, it was a flock of birds. The way that these silver reflective things were in the sky. And they were moving in the same way that a huge flock of birds would move when they change direction really quickly.
Like
That's because they were birds.
Listen, Jason, nobody thinks this is weirder than me. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I thought that, I looked for every single out that there was. And I thought, well, it's a drone. Clearly it's a drone, but there were probably 30 of them. And when they would turn direction, they disappeared. Totally disappeared. And then when they turned direction again, it was like they were reflecting off of something and you could see, and I don't know.
And
I don't
how
know.
many glasses of wine at this point?
She was watching her kids, so at least two.
I had not had any yet. It was it was like probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is not out of the ordinary.
Right.
Yeah.
But this was legit. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to say what it is.
See, I have a take on some of this because I do believe there's the possibility of other life forms exist out there, as well as the universe being so big it has to be. But then there's the theory that I have about, well, the reason why we have such a big universe is eventually robots are going to expand and take over everything.
I feel like that's already
think
happening.
the other forms of life could even be such as a robotic form of life with no feelings. Kind of weird. But
Yeah.
this particular time, I do think, just like religion at times, people, when they can't explain it, they immediately give must be this to something, just like we do sometimes with God. That's how an agnostic thinks.
Sure.
But it's a possibility.
Uh-huh.
Is it a possibility this is aliens? Maybe. Or
Could be.
is it something to do with the earth that we don't understand yet, or energy that we don't understand yet, or some kind of the way the sun and the lights are beamed that we don't understand yet? Or is it possible this is alien? So
I don't know.
I think there's a lot to it, but we would be naive to say that I think we're just like a grain of sand at the beach, probably even smaller, that we just don't, that we know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we understand a lot of this stuff because we don't. We're so irrelevant, I feel, to the world.
I agree with that. And especially because right now I feel like I am retaking 3rd grade science because my daughter is. And I'm learning all sorts of great things.
Of course, yeah.
I'm learning all about the solar system. And I'm learning all about all these things that we've sent up into space. And then it's like, oh, yeah, it never returned because it still hasn't gotten there yet. And we sent it off like however many years ago. You know?
yeah.
So, Nora, this is fascinating. Tell me more about our orbit, because it's all the things you learned in 3rd grade, but I forgot. And so I do absolutely think that there is something scientific behind it, that it's maybe.
So do you think what you saw, which you couldn't explain, which there may be, just maybe, be an agnostic for a second for science.
Put myself in your shoes.
There may be an explanation for it that, it's just like kind of like a video you see, oh, that person's guilty. Then you see the whole video like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I didn't see that part of that part of that part. There could be an explanation that solves everything. Or are you going, it could be? Or are you saying, no, these are aliens?
I'm saying it could be.
It's aliens.
It's
Say it with your heart, Katie.
I'm saying Okay, if I had to put a percentage on it, the way Jason does with his love, I would
or life.
say
My life. My percentage on everything.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You do. I would say I'm 51, like Area 51, 51% alien,
Wow.
49% science.
Skewing alien
Okay.
here.
Well,
Just a little bit.
part of Alien could be science too, right?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Now, I just saw the movie Contact for the 80th time, and a lot of people has anybody ever seen it here?
I can't remember
It's
if I
been
have.
a long time. That
Okay.
Jodie Foster?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
no,
well,
I haven't.
This is a special movie to me because it's old. What?
Yes.
You think Jodie Foster's cute?
Jodie Foster.
No, but it's a special movie to me because I just think it defines and something. This is really weird and creepy. Not creepy. That's the wrong word.
Okay.
It's bizarre at times to me. But when I see this movie, it explains how we can look at what we perceive as aliens could be not how it even is at all. And basically what it shows is the only reason why we knew they were possible aliens with Jodie Foster is because Katie. I'm trying to be serious here.
It's our way.
What? This
We're
is-
not
But she's
controlling
playing
that.
that
I
music.
thought this was fitting.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, honestly, her dad came to her in a form
Yes.
that was presented as her dad and a human being because that's the only way she would understand and perceive or be able to see or communicate or tell that it was an alien. But the aliens itself, we have no idea what they look like because we couldn't even look at them, perceive them, or anything. So the aliens could form, this particular species could form a way into a human being, kind of like a light of her dad. It looked like her dad, like a, what do you call those?
An avatar.
An avatar type thing.
Apparition, yeah.
Yeah.
Concerts have them too, like a Whitney.
Like a hologram.
Hologram,
A
okay.
hologram type thing. That's
Yeah.
the only way she could understand it, right? And because, like you said, I don't think everything is like ET looking or alien looking.
I don't.
We can't even perceive it. Just like an ant can't perceive a human being. It's the same thing because it could be way more. Just like we can't see radio waves, but we know they exist.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
And I actually had, this is the craziest thing. I'm very hype about the movie Contact because I think it portrays that how. And here's the big thing.
Yeah.
The rest of the world, all they saw was her drop, and it was a 2-second thing. But she said she was gone for 18 hours, right? But to the rest of the world, it was 2 seconds. But that's, you see how we can't perceive it. And she even admitted in the movie, it could have been that I just hallucinated, but everything tells me it's not. So she doesn't even know 100%. I sat down for the second time with the pastor. This is so weird.
Is this another
No,
time that we don't?
The
This is the second time.
Yes,
Okay.
the
this
second
is
time.
okay.
I never told you this part.
Oh.
And,
Oh.
which I thought was
Thank you.
interesting because there's a combination of, in the movie Contact, science and religion. Because there's a religious guy that thinks that this is, it's more than that. It could be a God's work and all this stuff. And I sat down with the pastor, and I just happened, because I was grilling him hard about, give me evidence that God exists on a certain level like that.
God, you're so demanding.
And he was very good with his answer.
Pounding his fist on the table.
And spewing rice everywhere out of his mouth.
Where is your
the
evidence?
first time I accidentally met when I was more nervous.
Excuse me.
I want the truth.
The second time I came prepared with the hard questions. And this guy's a really nice guy. I mean, he's just like he's not like the hardcore religious type like maybe other churches.
He's a saint, if you will.
Is he Pastor Light? Is that what you're saying?
No,
No?
he's just
He's decaf.
he believes that there's some of the
Full strength.
It's a decaf
whatever.
pastor.
He believes some of the things and rituals and other and not always that we evolve and stuff. You know
Okay.
the guy.
Okay.
Pastor Jonathan
Yes.
Robbins. Anyways, I
Google
said
it.
I just happened to mention too. I said, you know what, because he had some good explanation about. Oh well, I always tell people when they don't believe in Jesus Christ, and that's okay. Well, if you follow Jesus Christ, how can it hurt you? It's just gravy on top if he does exist,
That is
because
a
all the
true
followings
point.
of Jesus Christ
Sure.
is really the right moral way to live and be kind to one another and whatnot. How does that hurt you in any way? And then guess what? If one day all of a sudden he exists, then it's gravy on the top, right?
Yeah.
I said, well, there's this movie Contact.
Oh, this is when he said, I'm never having lunch with you again.
And he was like, I love Jodie Foster.
I said, there's this movie Contact that I've always been torn with. And he said, I cannot believe you just mentioned that movie. That is my #1 favorite movie that I have based teachings and the way I teach sometimes off of that type of philosophy.
It's
More evidence.
It was a sign. I didn't want to
Wow.
say it.
Evidence.
I didn't want to say it because I was like, oh my gosh. If there was more of a sign that God and Jesus exist,
So
this is
you had him
it.
in checkmate, but he had you.
You sent me someone that loves contact, God? You must be real.
I'm serious. I was like, what the hell? I mean, sorry.
I mean, excuse me.
Heck.
And he's like, no, I've actually incorporated it once into teachings and because of this and the way you look at it, the religion wise. And he basically said it's the same way that sometimes we can't even explain Jesus Christ because of the way that she couldn't even perceive what the aliens were. And how the evidence doesn't exist sometimes for some people because it was 2 seconds, but it really did exist to her because she had faith in. So I was like blown away by this. And I was like, oh my gosh. That gave me more evidence that God possibly exists.
I can
But the-
actually follow your
Yes.
train of thought on
Yeah.
that one.
Isn't this insane?
Yeah.
I never
Wow.
mentioned it before, especially since Jared had to leave early today. I decided to bring it out today because I
Today's
don't
the day.
need Jared's,
He wouldn't sway
flash.
you.
But I was just shocked about it. Anyways, so yes, do I believe that there's a possibility of other life forms? Do I possibly believe that there's not, and it's just God somehow that we don't know all the explanations for? Or is it possible that the robots are just expanding and expanding and expanding and are going to fill up the universe?
I don't know. And is it also possible that what I saw were like, what do they send? Google drones
Yeah.
and
Oh,
stuff.
yes.
And it could have been that.
Have you seen the
How-
firework
how-
displays? Anybody here have seen the firework displays?
Yes.
Or the
Yes.
drones, yeah.
With the
lot of-
drones?
yeah. How big were they like spherical
I couldn't.
objects?
I could not tell. So if you're just joining us, I was out in the front yard the other day, and it was probably. I was not. I promise you.
Buzzed.
I would have liked to have been, but I wasn't. It was probably around 3 in the afternoon, and the kids were just playing. It was a very sunny, beautiful, clear sky day, and I looked up, and it just happened to be that there were probably 30-ish things. I mean, now they were so high up that I couldn't tell their shape. But all I could see or liken it to would be they had the same movement as the way a flock of birds would move, but they were silver and then kind of white. And then when they would turn a certain way, you couldn't see them at all.
Do you feel like they were
Really?
reflective at all?
Yes,
Or was it?
yes,
Okay.
like silvery, reflective.
And so
kind
that
of.
movement you're talking about, it was kind of in unison. They were all kind of doing
Yes.
it together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you believe,
I-
Matt, that it could possibly be aliens or other life form? Or
I do. I wouldn't say I'm at 51%, 49% like Katie believing it could be aliens.
What
Well-
percentage are you at?
I would say maybe 20% alien for this one.
Fair.
I
Much
personally
more logical.
I personally don't know that they would. How many do you think you saw?
Probably 30-ish.
I don't
just
know that
in
they're
that
sending
one.
30 at a time.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, though.
But she's
That's
perceiving
crazy.
it as 30. Maybe
Right.
it's just one.
Now that's also possible.
Could
Now
be.
you're getting deep. Now you're getting real deep.
Or maybe it was millions, and all I could see were
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
getting what the whole Contact movie
Yeah.
was about. It's
Yeah.
it's just what we perceive. For all we knew, that's the only thing we could have actually seen out of the whole thing. It could have been stuff everywhere. We just didn't see it, and this happened to slip through.
these. I will also say that because I do skew skeptical. I know that you don't think I'm a negative person, but I can be. I can
Oh,
be.
yeah.
We also live closer to the airport. And we do see a lot of things in the flight path.
See, you're
Well, but
questioning
see,
yourself.
This is what that's why I was like, well, maybe it was, they sent some drones. Maybe they sent something. But then I thought, no, aliens.
Yeah. And 30 at one time, that's unheard. No, that's
I know.
No, they're gonna have 30 aircrafts in one
And the
area.
way they were moving so erratically.
Yeah, no.
They have that
and-
though, Squid. There's like displays now all over the world with drones that are like hundreds that
Why
light
not?
up and that are reflective that all go in unison. That's
They were
remarkable.
They were in unison too. And so I don't know.
And I don't think
But
you're
no.
alone. I think, for one thing, if any one of us told this story, you wouldn't have the 51% belief. You would be skeptical and say, I believe 10%, just like, or 20% like Matt said.
But I
guess.
bet if the roles were reversed and you experienced this, Jason,
Oh,
you were
if-
Katie in your front yard,
Yeah.
you would have watched all the National Geographic and History channels saying ancient aliens are real, and you would swear up and down
You
that
would
you
be
almost
in
got abducted.
the alien ship right now.
Well,
Yeah,
somehow,
me and
some
alien
way.
that is
expert.
because I would analyze it probably more sophisticated than Katie is.
Oh, please. I think we have someone. We have Sean on the line. Sean, are you saying that you saw something similar?
I've seen something similar at night twice, all the same shape, all moving in unison. They were green colored. And I ended up finding out through someone who I know that works with NASA that it was a launch done from some sort of Jeff Bezos program.
Okay, so she's basically saying right now there's an explanation for it, and she does not believe in aliens.
Well, here's the thing. I have been lucky enough to actually see the Elon Musk Starlink.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
That's crazy.
That was insane, and that was totally just by luck too, because we were in Waynesville, so up in the mountains, and it was a beautiful, clear night, and we were out watching the stars anyway, and we were so lucky to see the Starlink. And if you didn't know that Starlink was out there, you would 100% be like, that's an alien.
Yeah, 100%.
So even then, I thought to myself, this must be something like that, you know? It must be something like that. But nothing that I have, I don't know, because when I was doing a lot of research about Starlink, nothing kind of lines up for it to be anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting. Thank you, Sean. Also, Morgan saw the Starlink thing. Is it kind of like what you saw, Morgan?
Kind of. I called my mom and told her I loved her because I thought we were going to die. I live in VSE, so I had no idea what Starlink was.
I love you, Mom, so much.
That's hilarious.
I was like, you need to look at the sky right now. I think the Lord's coming back. But, no, it was scary at first because I had no idea what Starlink was. But then when I saw it, I still thought it was aliens to begin with.
Do you see now, Katie? This is what bothers me, and this is why I'm torn. She is basically saying she was almost positive she was going to die, and these are aliens. But there was an explanation, and that's what's always missing. And I think a lot of times, I mean, I've heard people say before they've seen stuff. I have never, and actually, Katie's probably the closest evidence that I've ever heard that it could be that somebody's actually seen. I have, or a UFO, because a UFO is just an unidentified flying object, which means it might be aliens or not. It's not always aliens. I have never heard anybody actually say they've seen other life ever with substantial story or evidence that that's happened without being a hoax.
If you've seen an alien, call and tell us at 800-682-1075.
Anything, any other form, any form of a possibility of extraterrestrial life form. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I have two things. A, I've loved aliens all my life, been fascinated by them. So there's a lot I've seen, like all the shows. I've seen all the shows. But, you know, a lot of Air Force pilots have a lot of accounts of seeing things.
UFO.
And UFO, seeing UFOs. And one of the, like, common things many pilots have said is, A, the UFOs they've seen have been able to move, like, at speeds and maneuver in ways none of our technology today can.
Correct.
As far as moving fast, stopping, and, like, or if it's a group, moving in sync.
Correct.
Yes. And but also a reoccurring thing is that they've been able to, they've noticed that some of the sightings, the aircrafts, whatever they're looking at, the UFO had the ability to almost refract light to, like, seem invisible, to, like, cover up their, like, you know, almost to be able to expose themselves and then not expose themselves.
It's kind of like in Captain Marvel.
Yes,
because I just saw Captain Marvel.
You reflect the light, and then so you can, like, control whether or not you can be seen.
You can become invisible.
Yes, so that's why, Katie, you thought you saw them and didn't, because there were aliens reflecting the light.
That doesn't mean.
Thank you,
but here's the big thing with squid.
Aliens.
Here's the problem with squids. That is a UFO. That's not. There's no evidence that it was an alien. It's just something we don't understand or can identify with, and we don't know if it's a reflection of light. We don't know if it's something else with the Earth. That's what we perceive it as. So we don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I thought we do have Christy, who says that there has been an alien in her bedroom before. So, you know, Christy, what's going on?
Yeah, I was in my bedroom once asleep, and I woke up, and it looked like a big, giant, like 30-foot praying mantis in my bedroom. It was creepy as F.
All right.
Yes.
You know.
How did you get it to go away? What did you do?
Spray raid?
No, I didn't. I didn't get it to go away. I was like panicking, and then it just like evaporated. Like, it was so scary.
That
It looked like a huge praying mantis.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think it has anything to do with you waking up out of your sleep? Because I hear this a lot when people think they seen a ghost or something like that. It's always waking up out of their sleep and they see something. Do you think it has any residual of a dream or anything like that?
I don't think so. It was as real as we are.
Mm.
Okay.
Like, it was scary.
All right.
I believe you.
I do
believe
too.
you.
I do too. Thank God you're here with us today,
believe,
Christy.
I
Yeah.
believe
God.
she thinks
Yeah,
she
it
saw
was scary.
Mm-hmm. Drew says that saw an alien. Drew.
So my dad, about 20 years ago, one of the most straight-edge men ever around High Point. He never drank, never smoked. If you knew him, you know he's not crazy whatsoever. And about 22 years ago, when I was younger, he was coming home from work one night and he said it looked circular with flashing lights and followed it for about 15 to 20 miles down Lexington out toward Ledford.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, he'll tell us the same story. He swears on it. He has no idea what it was, but kept chasing it.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's no explanation for it.
that could be a UFO,
Thanks,
but
Drew.
if it was the military, they might have an explanation for it, or they might not, and it's a UFO. Is it other life forms or anything like that? Who knows? I mean, honestly, it's like if there is other life forms out there, it could be millions and millions of light years away, and the odds and it's like the chances of them contacting us or we contacting them is like hitting 10 times worse than hitting the lottery. I mean, it's not even close.
I'll just make my final statement, and it is, I saw what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I saw what I saw.
I've seen a UFO too.
You're just now telling us this?
Well, yes. I mean,
what are you saving that for?
well, I just wanted to let everyone get their stuff out. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Hey, how about hold that thought?
Okay.
Squid's going to share with us